Quicker one today, as I am admittedly not feeling the best, but more panic to cover from the right, as this election cycle hasn't been panning out at all the way they thought, where they were painting Biden as too old to function, he'll need his handlers to do it for him. Instead, he's given numerous public appearances that show his strength, he's given good speeches, and continues to rise his support, and in the polls as well, as the economy also is turning around. So I thought we could look at some of the most recent examples of right-wingers having to face the music.
Now, I don't know if that's a good thing. Republicans, we should constantly be worried. I'm very worried. I still give Joe Biden the slight advantage.
Biden across the board has the advantage, and Republicans are starting to have to acknowledge this and change their tone from a couple months ago saying Biden wouldn't even make it to this point, probably in hopes to save face from complete and utter embarrassment come November. But Biden has more field offices, more fundraising success. He's beaten Trump's best achievements like having lower unemployment, lower black unemployment, higher HBCU investment, higher GDP growth, more jobs, and he's been able to pass multiple pieces of legislation. Trump only got one passed, and a couple of those were bipartisan, something Trump could never do. He brought things Trump promised and couldn't, like infrastructure. He's upped Medicare. Trump said he'd replace Obamacare, couldn't even do that. It's just a record that Trump can't beat unless he points to problems he caused, like inflation, and tries to blame Biden for it because of the spillover.
It's not just the suburban female vote, but you're absolutely right, Cheryl. In addition, that we're looking at this playing out in elections, defying polling, close congressional races over the last 2 years. In contest after contest, abortion rights has been a deciding factor. So this isn't just something throwing hope to the wind. We actually are counting on the fact that the repeal of a woman's right, the first time a constitutional right has been repealed by the Supreme Court, and the real life implications of women waiting in hospitals to get medical care in parking lots, of women having to fly out of state to get the care that they need. These are the types of things that motivate voters beyond the polls. And thus far, with Trump saying he leaves it to the states and that he wants to criminalize abortion in a way that would throw these women in jail for pursuing their basic health needs, this is something that motivates voters, and it's not just women or suburban women. This is across the board.
With Trump making claims that he would allow states to monitor women and he would allow women and doctors to be punished with jail time, this is Civil War era stuff, and it will not just motivate women, but all voters, not just motivate Democrats, but Americans. A majority of Americans think abortion should be legal, that women should have access to healthcare, and that their zip code shouldn't define that. And what the right wants to do is impose the tyranny of the minority, something they talk about a lot. And Trump is realizing that and now trying to change his rhetoric. And that's something that nobody should be fooled by.
So what's wrong with Congress then, Congressman? I mean, why can't you actually move the needle on securing the border? I understand you need a willing partner on the other side, and you haven't had that. But it's frustrating to see all of these illegals coming in and the drugs flowing in, and really no movement.
The problem is the Republicans, not the Democrats. We know how the Democrats are going to vote. It's too many of my Republican colleagues are unwilling to vote to secure the border.
And that, of course, comes at the direction of Trump. But you love to see Maria Bartiromo really trying to sell the propaganda and say it's the Democrats, isn't it? And the Republicans are just like, no, it's us. Like, our colleagues suck. It's not the people on the other side. We're the other side that won't negotiate. It's funny because even more Republicans, we showed one the other week, come out and say that. More and more Marjorie Taylor Greene said the Republicans can't get a single thing passed. Chip Roy has said, oh, give me one thing to run on. They're realizing like, hey, we are dysfunctional, and it is the dysfunction that letting MAGA embody their party has caused. With others, like notable ones like Mitch McConnell, choosing to retire rather than leave this stain on his legacy. It'll be interesting to see how the Republican majority looks going forward, like after this election cycle, especially with Marjorie Taylor Greene dead set on torpedoing the speaker and the infighting continuing. They're destroying themselves, so we don't have to.